I taught him everything he knew when it come to Falkirk.
3-0 down, I thought, right, when this whistle goes, he's getting headlocked. Incredible atmosphere. Like, I just wanted on that pitch. I was desperate. I would have been doing jumping jacks in front of Neil Lennon just to get me on. And
she's took the order and she's gone through it and put the sock in it.
You've decapitated a cuddly toy.
Right, hello and welcome back to episode 8 of the warm-up. Before we get into everything, please make sure you subscribe. We've got some cracking guests on today. Gordon, who do we have coming in today?
I just always forget to say subscribe. That's why I'm not trusted with this yet.
And we're forgetting
you are.
Week we're on as well.
But we're up and running. Two top guests again. We've got Tony Watt and John Hughes. Good to see you both. It feels like an obvious place to start this week. We'll get Champions League football back for Scottish clubs during the week. Celtic, how impressed were you with them?
Oh, they're different class. I actually done the game on Saturday against Hearts, and there's a real energy about them. They get about it. When they lose the ball, the turnover, getting it back, and a right good football team. They're the best. I think he's took it another level from last year.
He seems to have a bit of anger about him right now, Roger.
Well, see Brendan coming in last year, he had to win the fans back. He had to win them all over again.
It's a slow
and he
start
did
as well,
that,
wasn't it? Yeah.
But this year it's like a fresh start and you can see it. And then the signings that he's made and the recruitment, it's just a matter of keeping them all fit. And hopefully when, as you say, European doesn't hamper them and the domestic stuff.
What impressed you most about it, Tony? Because look, it's a new look Champions League, it's a new format. There is an acknowledgement that tougher tests are still to come, I think, in terms of football and pedigree of the opponent, but it still just looked like they were so at it, weren't they?
they were non-stop for the start. I think the most impressive thing was, like John said, the energy. They were immense, and you don't play anybody that's terrible in the Champions League. I know people are saying maybe Bratislava aren't the best, but Celtic made them look really, really average, and I didn't think they could have replaced O'Reilly and the boy Ingles. I know it's early doors, don't want to big him up too much or get too much pressure. Not that it would matter, because he looks as if he just takes everything in his stride, but he looks the real deal. I think he could be more than worthy of replacing Matt O'Reilly. That
mentality side of it, happy to come in and take big penalties, Champions League in the league at the weekend, just straight away. He's obviously not faced.
Jumping on the penalty, you know, when they got the one against Hearts on Saturday, Hattati's a penalty taker. McGregor took the ball off him and gave it to him. I think it was a case of great leadership, but I think it was a case of here, get yourself scored that and get yourself settled in.
And Luke McCowan scored that game as well, didn't he? So both of them, that was a nice little... Yeah.
He's a player, by the way. I didn't know too much about him.
Heard a lot of good things. So, a lot of boys for Dundee are saying he'll go there and do well, and then whoever I've spoke to that's trained with him, that said that he's come in and he doesn't look at a place.
I think that was a bit of a... I don't know if statement's the right word, John, but Brendan Rodgers has spoken so many times about really trying to take that next step. We know what Celtic's domestic dominance is like, and again, you always that caveat that they'll play some big teams down the line, but it really looks like they're bang up for something in the Champions League, doesn't it?
I was listening to his interview and he gave a few secrets away. I'm sort of saying, keep them to yourself. And it was all the work that they'd done in the pre-season. There was no excuses in terms of when you lose the ball in the final third, it's get it back within 5 seconds. And you can see that high energy constantly. Remember last year when the balls were going out, they were quick on, free kicks down play, and they're just constantly on the front foot. Against Hearts, they needed that second goal, and they didn't get it until Hearts opened up and went with more of a 4-4-2. He got more of the flair players on, and then Celtic. I'm sort of watching it, I'm saying Celtic's going to score here, and they did. But even on the turnover, as you seen it last night, 2 or 3 passes next to the game minute, there's a chance.
See, you do that though, like, because every team says they're going to work hard. Every team tries to work hard. I assume every player tries to, but see, to then see it to that extent, what does that take all round?
Probably a better question for John in terms of, I think managers get scared to work the players too hard, because when you work them hard, you're going to get injuries, and you need to just accept that. But a lot of managers, especially the lower clubs, don't have the budget to get enough players in to have replacements for the boys that get injured. But Celtic do it well. Celtic have went and signed the best, like your McCowans. They've went and spent money on Aida as a replacement for Kyogo. They've genuinely got 2 top players in every position, so he can work them to their max, and if he does have an injury or 2, he can just get on with it, a couple of muscle injuries, and then pick them up again, because you get injured, you're out of the team.
Do you think the way they dominate domestically though helps? Obviously they have a lot of possession. They had a lot of possession last night. They might not.
Now in Hearts, I know they've not started great, but Hearts haven't changed much for last year. Probably signed good players, and people are saying, why are they only beating Hearts 2-0? Who Hearts are probably one of the best 4 or 5 teams in the league.
They were dominant. They dominated Hearts, and they're just wasn't as slick as it has been like it was last night. Just a wee pass going astray, but you could just say to yourself, yeah, they're at it. And as I say, as a manager, you go in there at the start of the season. Brendan says all the work's been done pre-season. They've all signed up to it, and that's it. There's no an excuse. And that's the way we go about our business. As Tony says, further on in the Champions League, when they come up against the better teams, how are they going to adjust and how are they going to go and do it? But the shape never changes. It's a 4-3-3, and you're looking at it and you're saying the 2 full-backs go, they go, 2 of them at once, 2 centre-halves will go man for man at the back. If the full-back's no going on the overlap, he's going on an underlap, or the wee boy Tuller will go in midfield and play a box midfield, and a 4, and you're saying it's a massive overload. Another one will just swing around. He'll get in the 3 at the back.
It helps with how comfortable Schmeichel was on the ball last night as well, playing it around with McGregor dropping deep and Carter Vickers.
Where do you think he learned that though?
I taught him everything.
Exactly.
There you go.
Spell it
That's reason I sent it
yeah.
Kasper, isn't it? You just flung it in. So
That's it. Yeah, it was a nice little transition. Wasn't it?
Got to be that.
Had his boots in the wrong feet before you got a holiday.
I know.
Was there a ball playing goalkeeper back then?
It was easy. We were when we were at Falkirk, we were never away from Manchester. Believe it, every week,
Right,
Gordon, every week, and mostly we were doing it at Manchester United, watching all their young players. That was just part and parcel of the job. We learned that off of Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown when we were players at Falkirk. Every Tuesday after training, they were in the car. They were down south. So when we were in the job, we just felt it was part and parcel of the job. And usually it was Man United, Newcastle. We were looking for a goalkeeper. We had buttons. I had about 800 quid in our pocket. And we went down to Manchester City. And it's a funny story because we're in amongst all the scouts, just sitting watching, and I recognised 4 or 5 guys with Manchester City tracksuits. And I went over to talk to them, just to ask them. I said, what about the goalkeeper, Schmeichel? And I didn't know it was Joe Hart. I didn't know it at the time, but Joe Hart gave him a glowing reference in terms of he was on loan at Shrewsbury at the time, saying, he's different class, real different class. Watching the game, you could see he was just full of himself, great confidence. After the game, last 10 minutes, everybody leaves. Or the chipper says, come on, let's get going.
Beat the traffic.
No, chipper. The manager was Stuart Pearce. Brian Ricing played with Pearce
So he did, Nottingham Forest.
I says, you're going in that dressing room. I said, we're doing it tonight. So Chipper got flung in the dressing room. Oh, how you doing, Brian? He said, listen, we've not got much money. We're doing for the goalkeeper. He says, and to be fair, Stuart Pearce says he needs that. That would suit him. Nothing to do with money. He's what he's picking up here, as long as he plays. He says, I'll put it to him. Next game day, Kasper was up in Scotland.
Did his dad ever come and watch him play?
Yeah,
Falkirk,
a few times. He took a real interest in. The minute he come in, you could tell he was something different. He had a real belief in himself. He mixed right in, but a real focus on where he was going. Mad trainer. Loved to roll about, covered in mud. And even when the training was finished, he would be out hitting free kicks and taking penalties.
He looks that type that just
loves
being in about it.
Well, I think it's funny last night because somebody who's done a lot in his career, what a career he's had, but he looked like he was really taking in that noise. You've been there for dafties like us who'll never experience it, and I don't know if you've seen him trying to recreate Dom Thomas's goal of the month.
And I was disgusted.
He'll definitely never experience it.
So harsh. I thought I did
for those big Champions League nights, because it can't be a cliche if Kasper Schmeichel's standing there visibly kind of moved by it. What is that moment like?
Well, with all due respect to Leicester, I know they played in the Champions League, but it will never have been anything like that last night, especially when the first goal goes in. I think the place just changes, the buzz just becomes, and it just takes the nerve away.
As well, unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you'll never walk alone at the start. He would have probably got goosebumps. I think everybody on that pitch would have got goosebumps, but it is a place like no other. Like when the Champions League's there, when they're firing, it's
how did you sort of handle that? Because different characters, maybe you almost want to lean into it, you want to help, or I don't know, maybe others try and almost ignore it so that it feels the same. I
was just in Wonderland. I was just buzzing, just to be a part of it. I always wanted to go and swap tops with like.
Were you nervous, or was there a wee bit of, I've got nothing to lose here?
Nothing to lose. As a wee guy, I was just thinking, get me on. Just
I like that mentality.
the older you get a bit more nervous, and you switch on and you become a bit more.
Whose strip did you get? Did you swap?
Pedro. I swapped with Pedro.
Nice.
I was walking up
World
the
Cup
tunnel
winner,
and
Pedro was Spain.
he was looking for a Celtic top and I was looking for a Barca top, so I was straight on him and I gave mine away to him.
Who got Messi's?
Fraser Forster, maybe.
That seems fair.
Rightly
They
so.
two went head-to-head
Rightly
big time, didn't
so.
Yeah.
He's but no, it was a incredible atmosphere. Like, I just wanted on that pitch. I was desperate. I would have been doing jumping jacks in front of Neil Lennon just to get me on. And I
Even
think
the
it must have
Bratislava
worked.
players last night, there was a clip going around this morning of just them all like looking at each other as the noise was.
It was but it is incredible. I remember when Yama scored, and I think it was Del McGee up and me, just like hugging each other, but the noise you couldn't hear from me to you away. It was just incredible.
Is that harder then as a player, like not being able to hear your teammates and shout to each other as you usually would, or do you know what you should be doing?
I think so. I think it's harder to play because information's massive in football. You need to tell your teammate to turn man on, but it probably killed them more because they're popping the ball about. And
Does it just feel so different? See that when you know you're going, the lights and the music, all that stuff that again we've all seen from home. Does it just feel so different?
well, John will tell you. See, when you get a lower league opponent in the cup, we get beat off Spartans last year. No disrespect to Spartans, but you go there and it's maybe not as many fans. There's a lot of empty seats. They're more up for it. But on the flip side, Celtic about 60,000 behind them. They can't not be buzzing. They can't. If you go away somewhere and it's not as high octane, high atmosphere, then it can be hard to get yourself up for the games. It can be hard.
That Greenberg down in the corner, they're non-stop. They're for the minute go, right? Non-stop. They get it all going in the atmosphere last night. When I was there, we played against PSG. PSG won it that year. And away back in 96. They were a right good side, but the atmosphere on European night, it's different. There's something different.
Did you swap any shirts that night? Any PSG
I think
players?
I did, but I couldn't even tell you who
It's
I
not
got.
hung up
I wasn't
somewhere?
into all that. I've actually got one shirt I've brought. I've got Gascoigne's in it. Was when he come up, when he was at Middlesbrough and he come up pre-season when I was at Hibs, and I swapped that, and that's probably.
It's the difference between you two. You're looking at the team sheet before the game, thinking, "Who can I get here?"
Genuinely.
I'll tell you one shirt with mine. Maradona's in the World Cup.
Oh, wasn't that the most
Before he went
expensive?
He's
Yeah.
made a few quid, did he? No,
Cammy Devlin done it as well with Messi, didn't he? And
who was the boy that got Maradona's?
Yeah.
the English
Cammy.
player.
Hodge.
Hodge, yeah.
Wee Hodge.
Cammy Devlin swapped with Messi, and there was a video of him getting the top, so that's authenticated.
Yeah.
And then I think his five top collection or something went for like 6 million, 7 million. So he's got £1 million in his bank straight away.
Who'd you get at the Juventus
Pirlo.
game after that?
Pirlo, I swapped with Pirlo. I
It's
ran
not
a
bad.
man marked him about 92 minutes, 92 and a half minutes. I knew the ball was going to go out. We were 3-0 down. I thought, right, when this whistle goes, he's getting headlocked and I'm going to ask. And to be fair, he put my top on after it. And I was.
And did you swap on the
over.
pitch then? And he
Yeah,
puts the
I
top
asked
on.
him
Oh,
for it,
did
and
you
then
really see that?
But then I
often
went
nowadays?
in the changing room to get it signed. But they were like, whoa, wee man, you're not getting through here. So I've got it signed. I've walked out and Buffon's walked by me. Full suit on, Dolce Gabbana tie, and he just went like, ciao, ciao. And I was just in love. Just looking at him as if I'm a spotty wee 18-year-old and he's a big, groomed, good-looking Italian, full suit, looking perfect. And he was like, ciao, ciao. And I was just...
I just love
I
the
know.
thought that Pirlo's got this Tony Watt strip somewhere. on
Yeah,
his-
that'd be pride of
in
place.
one
He's
of
probably
his
got it at the end of his
mansions.
garage for every time he shines his wheels. He just uses
Another
that.
strip, when I was at Ayr United, we played Celtic in the semi-final, and I asked Henrik for his strip, and the game finished, never fought. Bang on the door, and you come, there's a strip. It wasn't for me, it was for, Scott Crabbit used to play for
Yeah.
me, Crabble. He says, if you can get a chance to get Henrik strip for my laddie. I says, aye, so
That's not a bad list, though.
I know.
The two that you receive are Gaza and.
I know, by the way,
and
high
Steve
bar.
Harvey.
I know.
But still, just getting it is pretty cool, I'd say.
High
But
bar.
to sort of round off the Champions League discussion then, did you think that felt like is that a real confidence booster for Celtic going forward? Do you think they can do something in this new format? They're talking sort of 9 points gives you a really decent chance. 10 points is like guaranteed, they say, according to Opta.
Is it not like 3/4 of the teams go through to some sort of next stage?
Yeah, it would be, because the bottom 8 drop out, don't they?
Yeah, bottom 8 drop out, and then it's like
The middle section have a playoff, and then
And
it
then-
goes to the
Can you see
quarters, I think.
I think they'll go through it. I genuinely think they'll do all right against. Don't get me wrong, when they play the bigger teams, it might be difficult because is it Dortmund they've got?
Dortmund away
These-
next.
these
Atalanta
teams are
away as well.
these
Yeah.
teams are world class. Atalanta, I know they're a top side, but I think Celtic have got a chance to mix it with anybody, especially at home if they play their same way. I think they'll give most teams a good game.
Even away from home, I just think in Kyogo, you can nick it. He can do nothing next against in the back of the net. If you've seen him, some of the stuff, his movement.
He always gets chances.
And Celtic are great at just getting it in there. And he just
And the one difference they've got this year compared to the last couple in Europe maybe is the quality off the bench as well.
Have you got his goals record? Have you any? Because I heard somebody saying it on the television last
75
night.
goals he's
So
still.
it
He's only been there 2.5.
Yeah, we got a couple in the Champions League last season.
3.5
as well.
years maybe.
Did you see the John McGinn stat though?
Yes, the first Scottish player
Seen that?
to score or assist
Spoil, he knows
on his
that already.
Champions League debut since you, isn't it? Yeah.
There you go.
Good
that
company.
right?
So it's
Like that.
lasted.
There you go.
Good
eh?
It's
company.
lasted a while. So
Look at that,
first
yeah.
Scotsman
Same
to
size as
score
backside.
or
isn't
assist.
it?
or assist.
You're not wrong. He uses his well, I don't.
One of them does it deliberately.
Aye.
So what was it? First Scotsman to score or assist in his Champions League debut since.
Tony Watt.
That's why we got him. We knew that was going to happen.
We knew John
And
McGinn was going to do something at Young Boys away, wasn't it?
So it's lasted longer than you would.
Done all right.
He's a
aye.
skipper down
think.
there, isn't he? He's doing well.
Aye, he's
Doing very well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
well.
Right, it's time for the Rondo. See what Sam and I just pretend we know what that means. I've heard it before. Don't really know what it is, but for us, it means 5 quick fire questions from me to you, Tony, from Sam to John, and we'll see what madness we can come up with. Ready?
Ready.
They're straightforward. You look worried. Sweet or salted popcorn?
Sweet.
You still into watching movies? Still a big movie
Love a
buff?
film.
Still feet up?
Like a TV series, love a film, man.
Not reviewing them anymore? Just
No, I wish I could get that going back because there's a few boys at Marvel that use a letterboxd app and they put a review up and it's quite fun. But
What are you watching? What's your recommendation right now then?
Mayor of Kingstown,
I think I've heard of that.
Taylor Sheridan, the boy that done Yellowstone.
Yellowstone's good.
He's the creator and director of Yellowstone.
Right, you've got me
Same-
convinced. Okay,
Same guy. And
fair enough.
back on Stranger Things, just a wee sideline.
Favourite movie of all time?
Stand By Me.
Oh, but I'm fully on board with that.
Massive
Do
film.
you know my wife slaughters me for liking that? I don't know why.
If I feel bad, that's going on. If I've had a bad day.
I think that's like
Is that the
a.
boys that doing the railway track?
Aye,
Yeah.
best
love
film ever.
I mean, I don't know if I could go as far as like Fate, but right up there. That's a
up there, yeah.
fantastic
There's another good
shout from you.
feel good film now on Amazon. It's called Finest Kind.
Nah, you've lost me with that
Am I
one.
getting
I have
that
to say.
question or not? Favourite
Yours
film?
are
have to
different.
wait, yeah.
Yours are different.
Different
Quiet
questions,
Man,
yeah.
John
I feel like-
Wayne.
I
Yours
feel
are
like-
favourite cassettes,
Aye,
but
no.
older.
Quiet Man, John Wayne. Tony, you've not seen that. Watch that.
Have we spoiled this? I don't know. The best shirt hanging on your wall?
Pirlo.
Pirlo.
Nice.
Hard to argue with
Got a
that.
few good ones. I've got James Forrest in the cup final. I think he maybe get man of the match. He gave me it after that. Bought Michael Jordan signed top. Bought
Oh.
that. He's my kind of
Bought.
aye. So it's a signed top. It's no worn, but I bought it years ago just as a, like kind of.
Not cheap.
It was all right, but I bought it as a kind of gift to myself, as if like keep going and show yourself that you can do nice
yeah.
things.
Okay. Biggest name in your phone book?
Apostolos Stamatolopoulos.
Ah, he's done us. He's gone literally. He's gone literally
Ah,
Tony
I like
on
that.
us.
I like that.
Stammer, is that what they
Classic.
call him?
AP.
AP. Oh, that's even shorter then. Fine, right. I'm not even going to go back in with the sincere
By the way, I hope
answer.
I've said that right, but I
think you
think
did.
I have.
Best manager you've worked under?
I need to say the current manager.
I think that's wise. Right, go on then,
Right, okay.
Sam.
Right, so first question. The Breakfast Club or Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Because
Breakfast
the
Club.
backstory
No,
to
no,
this
do
question.
you get that reference? Because I was lost on me.
It's
Yeah,
all
we
the same
did.
actors in it, isn't it? Was it
Come
not?
on, movie
The
buff.
Breakfast Club.
Come on,
Was
you
it
I've
one-
should
seen
know
the
this.
two films, but
Was it
what's
one
the-
sitting in the classroom?
But both directed.
Directed by
John Hughes.
John Hughes.
Aye.
Ah,
Not this
nah, I
John
wouldn't have knew that.
No, I didn't know that. But either one.
Yeah,
Either
Breakfast
one.
Club. I've
Breakfast
seen
Club.
it, aye.
Keswick Bridge or Forth Bridge, which is the better bridge?
Which is
Fourth
the
bridge.
better bridge?
Forth Bridge is better.
You're a big
okay.
you still cycling?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Been over
Oh,
there,
yeah.
cycled
Cycled across.
there, aye. I stay in Edinburgh.
Uh-huh.
See, when I was a manager once, I was going to Glasgow and ended up going over the Forth Road Bridge. Unbelievable, wasn't it? You're sitting, I'm saying to myself, what am I doing going over here? Just that much going on in your head. You're just
Autopilot.
Just loves it.
on your bike?
No,
I was going to say.
No,
John
I
did
never
that.
loved
Yeah.
John did that.
Sometimes it's nothing to do with a bike. It's just putting a lycra on, you know. The
Just like that.
lycra
Just like the feeling of it.
Aye, just
Right.
walk about
Listen, I
with a
don't
bike.
judge you. Whatever floats your boat.
Sunshine on Leaf or You'll Never Walk Alone?
Oh, you rascal!
That is
That's
a
a
That's
rascal.
a rascal. Eh?
Because
Nice.
You'll Never Walk Alone was
Sunshine on
Celtic.
Leith after they beat Rangers could be the best I've ever seen a sing along in a
I remember
stadium,
that going
and you'll
viral
never
at the
walk
time.
alone.
Yeah.
Big.
That's tough.
I sit on
gotta
the
think-
fence on that one.
Can he?
I'm too scared of him to tell him otherwise.
I know.
So, yeah.
I think you can sit on the fence for that one. You can appease both sets of fans there, yeah. Paddington Bear or Yogi Bear, which is the best bear?
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear,
Do you
of
want to know
course.
something? I'll tell you a story.
Go on.
I've been looking for the last 10 years to get a Yogi Bear head cover for my driver. Can I get one anywhere?
Surely somebody watching.
I think the
can-
power of this show.
Wait there. My wife just bought a Yogi Bear teddy bear. She's took the other.
You're
and she's gone through it and put the
You've,
sock
de-
in it.
brilliant.
you've decapitated a
She's
cuddly toy just to
decap-
get one on the
that's
top of your
correct,
So
yeah.
side.
harsh.
Right?
And yeah, the final question for you: biggest name in your phone book as well. Same as question for Tony.
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Oh,
I think who else had that was Graham Souness and Martin O'Neill.
Listen, I
did they
can't
say?
argue. Anyone
That's
who's got Sir
yeah.
Alex's number, that is
Really?
top.
Yeah, yeah.
On the domestic front, I suppose the big story this week would be your first Premiership managerial casualty. John, in the management game, when that comes along, what did you make of this one in particular, Craig
It
Levein?
surprised me.
Came out of the blue, yeah.
It really surprised me because first and foremost, if you just look at Craig's pedigree, very, very good. Really good pedigree. National manager. What he done at St Johnstone last year, I think his remit last year was to keep them in the league because they started off really well. He'd done that. And just because he's got off to a bad start, and I think they've sort of jumped, and Craig suffered on that. But that's what happens when new ownership come in. They want to come in and they want to do it their way and they want to bring in their own people. So,
What's it like as a player when manager changes at like an early stage of the season or mid-season? Is it as simple as the guys that are playing under him are really gutted and the ones that are not maybe look at it as a...
no, it depends because sometimes you probably think it's deserved. Sometimes, not a lot of the time. I think everybody gives their all. I do, but sometimes maybe it's time for a change. The club, sometimes above, aren't helping the manager and he can't deal with it or whatever. But I don't like seeing MD lose their job, no matter what has happened in the past. I don't think it's a nice thing. You know that everybody's. If you're not playing, the manager's not picking you. He's not picking you for anything other than you'd like to think that he thinks the best team doesn't have you in it. Don't get me wrong, there's politics in football. I get that sometimes. It happens, but you never like to see a manager lose his job.
Who are the candidates for this St Johnstone job?
Reece
Like-
McCabe's been talked about a little bit as some championship managers that they're looking
I
at.
don't
Do you think
think
it'll be
he
a
goes
former
there.
Premiership man who
I don't-
comes back in?
That
Or?
doesn't suit his philosophy, St Johnstone, in terms of he loves playing football, total football, and
That's the thing. Will St
Can you
Johnstone
do
go for
that though,
something
John?
completely
I mean,
different?
this is up your street. Is that why should that be a barrier? Should clubs look
well,
at that?
you're tough to talk to the owners and see what they want. That's simple as that. Everybody wants to work football, but when a club, you have to watch where you're going. If their philosophy is no total football, it's just win. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. You can, but how do you want to win? You can get beat playing total football. You can get beat playing long ball. It's you can't sit on the fence. It's all in. Yeah. And if I get someone that's all in and say, right, that's what we want to do, because it all falls in place in terms of your recruitment and how you develop players, then that's the kind of club I want to go and
United
manage.
fans wouldn't think us, but someone you know well. Scott Brown's obviously started the season well. These are the types of
I don't
names
think
that
Scott Brown leaves there for.
You wouldn't want to leave that project. They're doing well there.
You're doing well there. They're at the moment pushing to win that league. Why would you go to St Johnstone and fight against the tide? For me, is Scott Brown. I don't think he would move. Again, Reece McCabe maybe probably hit his limit where he probably wouldn't be a bad one.
Would Ian Murray be in with a shout, do you reckon?
I like Ian Murray. I think he done really well. I think he got a good kind of. We played them a lot last year.
of course,
we were always there, and,
So a few of them,
he's
yeah.
everywhere.
and they will never say die. They were always to the end, and they were like the ugly sister for us.
Were you surprised that he left so early on this season?
Yeah, I think he's kind of been made the scapegoat for that. They've got good players, but everybody, John, like you say, everybody goes through a bad patch. But Ian Murray's shown that he can be competitive. Rafe, by the way, have got a good project now. Definitely got something going. You've seen that last year, but I think he was probably the man to lead them. He was linked with Hibs in the summer, and then he gets canned. I don't understand it. I think a lot of knee-jerk in football, and don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming MD at Rafe because they have been doing everything behind the scenes really well. It was good to get a good look at that last year, and I think Ian Murray wouldn't be a bad one at all. I think they played some nice stuff last year.
They'll need to go for a young manager. a young manager.
That's what
They've tried the experienced manager.
I was going to ask you,
with Craig, and that never. Well, obviously they've sacked him. So they say, right, that never worked.
do you think that happens? Do you think an owner maybe has a list and he goes, right, I'll go an older person. That didn't work. I can't get another older person. Do I
Even
go a
though
young?
it's completely different.
Like
people.
it's maybe total different. But do you think that happens?
I'll tell you how it happens. A lot of the owners are scared of experienced managers because they know the game inside out, and they'll question them.
Yeah.
A lot of owners want a young manager that they can control, and that's when you have to go in there.
But that's so. Do you think they'll maybe go? Right, we've got a list of 5 people, say around the same age as Craig Levein, and they'll go, right, they're ruled out. We're going for a Rhys McCabe or an Ian Murray or a Scott Brown or a.
Because you want to just change the profile.
Yeah,
just
so
to
like
make
for
it look-
instance, John McGlynn might not be in the mixer there because he's a bit older and
but he's done a sensational
he's
done a
job.
sensational
Great
job,
job.
but they'll maybe be like, for
So,
me,
so if you get the St Johnstone job, what do you think the remit should be?
it's 10th place.
Craig Levein done that.
He did, yeah.
Are they putting money in? Are they really putting money in? And you say, well, the budget we're now giving you, we want better than that. If that is the case, then I can totally understand that. But if it's not the case, then you're saying, what exactly do you want here?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll watch with interest. See who that
Yeah.
replacement is. Tony, you're back at Motherwell at 14 senior clubs. I was counting them up on here.
13, is it no?
Well, I thought 14. I have
Is
to
it
say.
14?
Might be
I've
a
looked at
loan
your
in there,
Wikipedia
maybe.
a lot this morning. Maybe it is.
Could be a
Anyway,
loan.
well,
By the way, we need
I-
to
I-
clear this up. A lot of them are loans.
I know.
Do
I
they
think I
count?
can see
Yeah.
a quiz developing here.
I think-
Can you quick fire do them all in order?
Oh, absolutely. Airdrie, Celtic, Leicester, Standard Liège, Charlton, Blackburn, Cardiff, OHL, back to Charlton, Hearts.
Panicking.
Oh, he did. I was really impressed that
Hearts.
he
Oh, back to
There you go.
Charlton. No, that's a mix-up. OHL was after that, so they are. Jesus, I've had some time.
Told you it would be
tough. Victoria comes in
St
there at some
Johnstone, CSK Sofia, Motherwell, St Mirren, Dundee United. You're right.
Coming through, I knew he was abroad, and I think I could get what team he was. Standard Liège.
Oh, there's a few.
There's a
Is
few.
it what-
Did you say
who-
Blackburn
what
in
was
there?
the other one?
Leicester.
You
No,
say
I
Blackburn
said
in
that.
there?
Did you find it different abroad in Scotland in terms of the training and what they do? And,
Aye, oh, massively.
Aye.
So I went from Celtic, which was, we had a lot of big players, like the manager managed players, and wasn't much tactics. It was more like get your best players out on the pitch, motivate them, tell them what to do. And when you went over there, it was like maybe on a Tuesday afternoon, you'd go out and you'd maybe both of you 30 yards apart, and it's right foot passes, left foot passes, right foot clipped passes, left foot clipped passes, and it was just technical, and it was like a lot more gym, a lot more regimented. You were at the club a lot more, and it was good. I loved it because I was a young lad and I just loved being about players. I just loved Celtic. Was more like you get in, you get your work, and you leave because everybody was a bit older. And when you went abroad, it was I loved it. I went there in Fred Franz. It was at Dundee United,
Yeah.
big centre half. He looked after me. He spoke English, and there was a couple of lads that had played in the Premier League or whatever, and they were there. And it was good. It was a good culture. Everybody would go out together. They'd eat together. They'd go and have a night out together, and I just loved being a part of it.
What was CSKA Sofia like?
Mad.
Did you play in the derby against Levski?
Didn't go on.
No,
He
okay.
fitted right in.
I was gonna say,
Mad,
he
not
was
as
the-
mad as me,
He
but
was the
mad.
maddest
Yeah,
bit
nice.
about it.
Aye, just
What was
mad.
that
Like
like?
the fans were mental. It was all like big bodybuilder MMA fights. So whatever they said, you just had to listen to. And you're crap today, what? And you just but big boy in front of me was going to be sold. So I went over there as a kind of backup. Didn't really play much, and then done 6 months and thought I'm not really up for just coming here, collecting a wage and watching him play, which he was good. Big boy ended up Russia, Turkey, and I just wanted to come home.
I think Motherwell fans are.
The two boys got to Napoli, Gilmore and
Oh, the dream. The dream.
unbelievable.
I
That's
can't,
great
I
for
can't
the
believe
national
Brighton
team.
let Gilmore go as well because he was.
The Man U letting McTominay go.
I know, yeah,
Brighton have
McTominay
at least
go.
get backups.
Eh?
Man U can't let him go.
they
He's-
were relying on McTominay's goals.
How
for
many
the
goals
last
did they
couple
score?
of years,
Equalisers or
Yeah,
winners?
yeah,
Even with
yeah,
Scotland,
yeah.
he's the only person that scores. Every time you look at the team sheet and McTominay's on it, you think we've got a chance to
It'd
score.
be great
Yeah.
to
You're
see.
talking about the
both of them.
stats and the running stats. I reckon his running stats
Oh, I
are
can
off the
imagine.
scale.
But he just
Off the
looks
scale.
like, but he just loves getting in the box and he's back defending and
Yeah.
he's good. I don't think he gets the credit for Scotland or for Man United that he deserved. I think at Napoli he could really go on and flourish.
See, moving around, I think maybe when you're younger, every time you would go somewhere, there's maybe that expectation, is this the settled move? Is this where you're going to stay for a bit? See, now that you look back on that, do you almost just accept that like that's fine as well? You know, look, you've moved around a lot, you've taken a lot of experiences in, and that's just the way your career's panned out.
Signing for Standard Liège, it just started the madness. The Standard Liège and Charlton were the same. So when Celtic first get presented the bid to buy me, it was a Charlton badge on it. And we cancelled that and said, no, we want to go to Standard Liège, we want to play in Europe, we want to do this. I think after about a month, they knew I was going to end up at Charlton. When I went to Charlton, done all right for 6 months, they were flogging me out to everybody to try and make money. The ownership, it was a big problem with Charlton ownership. They were all going mental, protesting. Can you remember the tennis balls and everything?
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
They flogged me out to Cardiff. I was about to get bought. Transfer embargo, had agreed everything, agreed into contract, buzzing, transfer embargo. End up at Blackburn. 2 months later, ripped my groin off the bone. So as of that's 4 clubs in the space of 18 months. And bearing in mind, I'm 21, 22. My head just went. I didn't understand how everything could just turn so sour. So I came back to Hearts in the wrong headspace. Just wanted to be home. It was just the wrong move for me because nothing to do with Hearts. Hearts are a brilliant club. But I just wasn't in a mood. I just probably should have just took 6 months out of football and just reset. Just went and worked on myself. And then it was just, after that, you go back to Charlton, club's still a shambles, go over to Belgium, manager gets sacked after 4 games, Nigel Pearson comes in, and it's a case of 6 or 7 clubs within 2.5 years where I should have just went, no, stop the bus, 6 months out, relax, just go and work on your own self, and you end up with 6 or 7 clubs in the space of so much time, and do you know what I mean? And it's madness. And then that just started it off, and then, but do you know what? I look back at everyone and go, that's an experience. Like, I chose to go to Bulgaria, I chose to go to Belgium. A lot of people maybe play...
Standard Liège are a big club out there as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Massive club, but when I went there, they were ran terribly. It was Roland Deschatley who he bought me, so what a guy. But he was a businessman that didn't really know much about football, same at Charlton. And you suffer at that because they try and get the big players in, sell them. And like you say, I'm not here pleading anything. I loved every experience I've had. Everyone's worked out for the best for me in terms of I just...
Makes you the person that you are. Good experiences, bad experiences.
And to see football, like you said, I wake up every morning at 8 o'clock to go and kick a ball about. There's people, I see my dad or whatever, up at 6, back at 6 for a fraction of what we earn. So we can't I see all these footballers complaining, right? Don't get me wrong. I don't know about you, but I'd take 60, 70 games a season over training sessions.
There's talks about the strikes this week with the players' unions and stuff, the amount of games.
I'd do any get a game in there. I'll play for them instead for free. But no, I do understand these guys are flying and around the world travelling. Was it Romero? The most distance out of any footballer. I understand why they're complaining. It's different. I can't comment on them, but the experience I've had, I've loved playing football. I just want to play, and I probably can't sit for 2 months on a bench and be patient. I probably just try and leave and go
just
somewhere
in
the past, and you get hounded for it or whatever for the clubs, but I wouldn't change a minute.
I just wanted to play.
I think the Motherwell fans are starting to warm back to you. He said when you came back, you were going to have to face a few tough shouts. So
do you know what?
You're getting back in about it.
Do you know what? After the first game, I put my head down, I ran about, and they were brilliant. And I think everybody
understood. It was a good reception the first game, wasn't it?
I
was booing, but the rest were cheering, but I was booing, I have to say.
I like that for you, stand on your own. But no, I had to sign for Dundee United in terms of when it was put in front of me, I've got a life outside football for the next 30, 40 years, hopefully. And they put a contract to me that I couldn't refuse. And thankfully, that's the reason why I'm back at Motherwell, because it was still there on the table and they wanted me to leave, which is fine. But genuinely, it's worked out for the best and I'm happy. And I don't have any grudges or anything.
Finding a home for the 14 club man might be tough. Is there something about, whether it's because you're a Lanarkshire boy or something, is there something about Motherwell? Is that as close as you've sort of felt?
Motherwell's probably pound for pound been the best for me in terms of they gave me a home at the start, they let me flourish, they let me enjoy my football, and now coming back, it's been...
Who was the guy for the first time, Rob?
Stephen Robinson. I think he must have got hit in the head before he signed me. Must have. No, but again, Robbo was brilliant. The club is a very good club for what they're working with. To be in the leagues for so many years and to be what they've been. We'll get a chance at a semi-final if we win tomorrow. It's a very good club. I'm very thankful to Motherwell for the platform they've gave me, because the fans could easily have turned around and went, nah, I'm not accepting him back, but they've been brilliant, and I think they understand why I done it.
We can't move on though before we just find out about the chickens. Have you heard about his chickens,
No.
John?
Yeah, we've had lots.
You know, he's telling us he's a bit different. He's telling us that
At
many chickens he got.
At Christmas, I don't know how, John, but I've convinced my wife to allow me to buy a chicken coop and get 4 chickens.
How is it things happen to you and you just don't quite know how they happen? Is it so it's
So
4
long you had
chickens?
them for since Christmas?
Aye, so I got them at Christmas, and then we went on holiday and we moved house, so they're on a farm now. But while, and this is a big story, John, don't get too excited, but while I've been on holiday and came back, one of them has been a bit naughty and met up with a rooster. And
One of the eggs is hatched.
they've gave birth to a baby chicken, so there's 5 in the flock now.
Oh,
So we're flying, but no, they're brilliant. They are. But
Do you know what they're called? Pedro, Pirlo.
Pirlo, yeah.
aye.
James Forrest, David Turnbull,
They
my 4 favourite
they don't
players
actually
ever.
football related names, do they?
I don't give them any names because 3 of them look very similar. One's
So you can't
outcast,
tell them
mixed up.
apart, let's be honest.
and no, I can't. But they give good eggs, very good eggs.
John, if one of your players came to you in the morning with eggs from their own garden, are you accepting that as a
Surely
token of
depends who it is.
appreciation?
No, everybody to their own. I'm just trying to think any players up to anything like that.
That the first you've
No,
heard.
no.
in your
Rankin
long-
had snakes, didn't he?
Well, no, we Ranks used to bring in the racing pigeon. We John Rankin, when
See
I
the
was
pigeons?
manager of Hibs, he used to bring in the racing pigeons into the training and open the baskets, and the pigeons were off. And
You
that was
brought
him.
Stuart Kettlewell freshly laid eggs.
No, I used to bring them last year for everybody at the club, and Jim Goodwin got a few, and I did get a bit of stick for it, but I used to bring in, like, say, 6 boxes of 4, and I'd give him some, Davy Bowman some, Louis Moult some, boys that had kids some, Jordan Tilson, Jack Walton, but somehow the boys didn't realise that they didn't want to mention the ones that I'd give to the boys. It was only the manager and the coaching staff, as if that's how you're getting a game, and I thought a bit better of them, but
Right, let's take a look at the fixtures. Lots to look forward to. We'll start. Tony's obviously mentioned it. It's the Tony Watt derby. Although when you've played for that many clubs, everything is the Tony Watt derby. But truly, Motherwell, Dundee United, you can't play as part of your loan agreement.
Would you get a medal if either of those
That's a
teams
great
won it?
question.
no, I can play in the next round if Motherwell go through.
But whoever wins it out of those two
Dundee
teams, would you
United
get a
won it,
medal?
do you get a medal?
I better. No, they won't. We're going to win tomorrow, hopefully. And no, I can play in the next round if Motherwell go through. So that's what my hope is.
Yeah.
I played in the last round against Kelly, and I'm only cup tied because it's my
The
parent
loan.
club.
Still going to go to the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Motherwell tracksuit on, sitting in with your Motherwell teammates.
Aye.
Staying away for the-
I'm a Motherwell player now. There's
the
no.
rivals.
Nice.
No doubt
Let's
about
be
it.
clear. There's no doubt about it. I know who I want to win tomorrow.
Good
Has
on
the
you.
gaffer asked you anything about them, Dundee United?
I was up at St Andrews in the car yesterday just to see what the formation was, so I could pass it to Kel, so I
Yeah,
can
it's
get,
quite open. You can see
so-
the training up there.
so I can get in the team next week.
A spy
Try
in
and
the
get myself in the team.
Giving any wee bits of knowledge over.
Nah, it's not really possible anymore
No
because I
secrets
don't.
anymore.
I still talk to the boys, but I'm not going to be. I play PlayStation with Decky Gallagher. I'm not going to turn around to him and say what's the team. He'd probably just mute me. But nah.
Should be a crack of that one. It kicks the weekend off. Looking forward to that. Now in the last round, I hope they appreciate that they've got us to thank, because on this show we tipped the Spartans.
We did Spartans, yeah.
to cause the shock in the last round.
And you mentioned them earlier about Dundee United playing them last season.
However, John, how impressed have you been with Aberdeen? Is that a step too far?
I think so, especially up at Aberdeen. I think the confidence, momentum that they've got, Aberdeen will be looking to take care of business. But I know we do give Samuel's a good friend of mine at the Spartans, so I stay not too far away from that. And they're doing really well. They're doing really well over in the next couple of years. I'm hoping that they can get up the leagues.
Yeah, they lost the playoff final last year to
Yeah,
Dumbarton,
yeah.
so they were close. Yeah.
And that's it. And you're maybe hoping that they maybe be able to turn full time. It's a fantastic setup at Spartans.
The community club, yeah.
But they need these kind of games.
Sure.
They
Get the
need
money.
these kind of games to, for their stature of a football club.
And the big sort of story, I guess, about Rangers Dundee is
Back
at
at
Ibrox for a start. You know, it's just one of those things we never thought we would sort of be dealing with going into a season. Back
I still
at
think
Ibrox,
part of the stand will still be closed, won't it?
You're going
But
to
at
vlog
least
that? If there's
no,
one
I
man
don't
who
think
can
so.
go and capture the return, to
I'm not
Ibrox,
sure.
it's
Possibly,
you.
we'll see. I haven't decided yet. for this one.
That's us in the YouTube world what they call a great clickbait headline in it.
Rangers back at Ibrox. Yeah, it
Rangers
could
are
be a
back
good
at
video.
home.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
see you
yeah.
there for sure.
What were
Yeah,
they
I've not
saying
decided
about
yet, I've not
Dundee? What
decided.
were they saying about Dundee last year and what they were doing? They done well.
Aye, they done really well.
if Motherwell Dundee United is the Tony Watt derby, the John Hughes derby is Sunday. Celtic
Perfect.
against
Celtic,
Falkirk. You've got, in their own way, I mean, Falkirk have been sweeping all before them at their level last season and on. How impressed have you been? But then this is the biggest test. Can they go and do something here?
Yeah, John's done a fantastic job. He's been magnificent in terms of recruitment. He just knows where the wee nuggets are, fitting his budget, getting them in, know where he can take them. I seen them last year. They play nice football, but this has got to be a wee bit too much. I think Brendan might shake it up a wee bit and he'll get 4 or 5 in there, but it'll still be too much for Falkirk. But you never know.
It's almost like the perfect fixture post-European game, isn't it, to play Falkirk? I know Falkirk are doing well in the Championship right now, but it's a good time for him to test players who haven't played as much.
That is, John will be looking at that as well. See, as you as a manager, I was talking before we started there, I went to Parkhead and got beat for Martin O'Neill, got beat with Falkirk, we got beat 8-0. Next again year, it was a whole different team, and we went there in the League Cup and beat them. We beat them on penalties. It was a quarter final. I think with Gordon Stranton was the manager. But the year before with the 8, that was a test. I'm standing back looking at him and saying, right, I need to shake this right up. And that's what John will do as well. They'll go and have a right go. They're full of confidence and they've got nothing to lose. It's all on Celtic. But John will be looking at it and say, right, how good are we? And can these boys, if we do win the Championship, are these boys good enough to go and play in the Premiership?
It's a good test, yeah.
Bit of a split though, of course, because we have Scottish Premiership games and lower league games as well. Let's take a look at what we've got to look forward to in the William Hill Premiership. At Ross County, we've covered St Johnstone, Andy Kirk and Alec Cleland in charge. Ross County though, maybe showing sort of signs of life for that win against Dundee last week, Tony.
Yeah, I think Dalton Cowie's come in and done well since he was appointed the interim manager, and I think every year they kind of flip way going down or the playoffs, but he'll be hoping that they get a bit higher this year, and have done a good job.
And then St Mirren Hearts as well. After that, Hearts need to start picking up points as well, don't they?
So just
Like the Tony Watt derby as well.
Is the Tony Watt derby again?
Every fixture this
Seriously,
St. Man, one of your teams.
I got a loan. I get punted out and loaned to them 18 months ago.
You lost track when he was counting. That is half the league, isn't it?
Yeah,
Currently,
so, yeah.
exactly half. Yeah,
I think, aye.
6 of the 12.
He thinks
Gordon, that's a big game for Hearts.
massive, isn't it?
It's I seen them on Saturday and I'm sort of looking at the tactics and they set it up and they're really hard to beat, and I'm saying, right, good on you. No matter what you set up against Celtic, you're playing the game in your own half. They're constant. So I'm saying, right, okay, they've got hard done by in terms of the penalty. But looking back, when I seen it on the television, I'm saying, right, I can understand it. And then he opened up and he went with a 4 at the back and he got Danda on, he got Spittle on, he got his flair players on, and the game started going a little bit end to end. And I'm sitting watching and I'm saying, they've got to concede. And then Celtic went up the park, McCowan got his goal, they conceded, and you're saying to yourself, you've got a wee problem there. You've got a wee problem in terms of how do you get your flair players on the pitch and keep a solid shape. And it's up to him to work it out. But as a young manager, we're talking about young managers. If you see what he'd done last year and the success he had last year, for anybody to be talking about he's under pressure, nonsense, absolutely nonsense. And if you've got a good board of directors, they should recognise that, because he's non-stop, he's hard working. Within the football fraternity, the ones that really work hard and put it in. And he's hard working, and you need to give him a chance to just turn it around.
We've given Tony a hard time, but do you know what? See, between these two, we must have nearly half the entire SPFL covered, because I'm looking at, we've already mentioned
it's a show for
Wraith,
all the fans today,
Dunfermline. Now we're going to Ayr United. John, back in the day, they can obviously go top. Another former club of yours, are you impressed with what's happening there?
Ayr United, yeah, always been a good club. I enjoyed my time doing there. 2 years. Daza was a manager when I first went out. Fell out with him.
That sounds about right.
It wasn't hard to fall out with him. And it was just the style of football. All pre-season we were football. When the season started, we wanted to change it a wee bit. And the two of us had done that.
I think this could be the year that they reach the top flight. I mean, Falkirk are right up there as well.
I think they've put up there's a wee bit of investment in down there, and not
they've
just
got the new stand as well.
In terms of the infrastructure, the new stand and all that stuff. And
they're talking about a training ground as well, unconfirmed, but potentially in the future as well. So putting the
that was always on the go when I was there years ago. It's a good club, and they're flying. But
Yeah, lots of good fixtures. I mean, Wraith obviously need a win as well, don't they? They'll welcome Hamilton Accies. If we take a look at League One as well.
Yeah, what about Inverness? Obviously, your former club too. They're mid-table.
How does that feel, John? Do you like personally? Is that 9 years Scottish Cup winners?
Third in the league as well.
Flying high.
Third in the league. Europe.
Just
Europe.
Took them into Europe.
how quickly. So like I say, that's 9 years.
She's actually with Falkirk.
How does that feel now when you look at the
I
struggles?
look at the clubs.
Inverness
It was
have?
actually with Falkirk when I left Falkirk. It went that way. Same with Inverness.
Don't get rid of this.
No,
guy.
it's just,
I know,
it's
keep
just
it
a
down,
set
yeah.
a high standard. No, it's just we're talking about management. When I got into management, you're going to do it. You're going to do it right. I want to recruit. I want to. I buy the messages. I want to make a tea. I'm not having somebody.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
I'm not having somebody recruiting for me, and I'm sort of saying, and we're not getting results. And there's only one guy that gets a bullet. These guys. So I'll do my own recruitment. You know, I'll work my own budget. Every time I've been in football, 20 years in football, I've never worked out a budget and I've spent 250 grand. Because there are players there if you do your work. When I was at Falkirk, we had a great hang with Arsenal. Liam Brady come to see us. I think it was that League Cup game. And he's seen us playing real good football. And he come down to see me after the game. He says, listen, I've got another few for you, all Irish boys. I took on them all in at Falkirk. And the deal was, it didn't cost us too much. You know what the deal was? If they play 500 quid, something like that. If they don't play them, we're wanting 1,200 quid. And most of them are coming for Arsenal. They're well groomed, you're saying, here, in here, go and play. They know how to play the game. It was great. So
yeah, big fixtures to look forward to. You look at Alloa Kelty's a good one.
First v third
take
in the
a look
league.
at League Two. Where are you off to? League Two. Let's take a look. Where can we send you?
I haven't decided yet.
No.
So open to suggestions.
East Fife
Peterhead
top
is
of the
top
table.
two.
That's it. Let's get you written.
Fourth as well. That I don't think they've
over
won yet this season. They're in the bottom spot. Obviously, you don't want to be down
Well,
there.
you
at the end.
pick then, right? And you can report back to us. Let us
There's
know.
a few good games on in League Two.
Let us know how it goes. Pretty much.
Is that us done again? Yeah.
For
Okay,
today.
nice.
Thank you very much. Top guest, brilliant
Thanks,
insight as always. John Hughes and Tony Watt. You do the official stuff.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more. We're nearly at 20,000 subscribers right now. So subscribe so you don't miss another upload, and we'll see you very soon.
See you
Thanks
next
for coming,
time.
guys.